We're currently looking at 35 degrees at the airport. It is 33 here at Radio Center. Downtown Midland is looking at 35 degrees. Downtown Bay City is currently at 34. As we go through the remainder of the day, those temperatures are going to hold right up there. We're about as warm as we're going to get. We're not going to see anything in the way of sun as we go through the remainder of the day today. Mostly cloudy skies tonight. Our temperatures will drop down into that upper 20-degree range, right around 27, 28 degrees. And then as we move into the day tomorrow, it does appear as though things are going to get a little touch and go. Not so much in the morning. We're not really anticipating much of anything in the way of snow or ice or drizzle or anything like that. But as we get into the late morning, and then obviously the early afternoon, that's when things begin to deteriorate. And we'll talk about that a little bit more in just a moment or two. Very mild temperatures overnight, as we indicated. Temperatures dropping down pretty close to 32 degrees. Some of you never did hit freezing last night. We had a light north breeze and a little bit of light snow that crossed through northern Michigan. We saw it here in the immediate Great Lakes Bay area, but for the most part, if the driveways, if the highways were clear, they were just pretty much wet. We didn't have much in the way of slick roads or slow visibilities or anything like that, unless you got into the secondary roads where still there is some covering and some packed down snow and ice in that particular part. High pressure over Lake Superior, north of Lake Superior. The reason why we saw the weather that we did and what we're seeing right now with the light north wind. Currently, we are looking at a breeze under 10 miles per hour, prevailing right around 5-6 miles per hour coming out of the north. Humidity, though, is right up there at 90%. The barometer is rising again because of that high, 29.90. The barometric pressure is not really going to drop off all that much as we go through the afternoon and the evening hours tomorrow, where we are going to begin to see a major change in that barometer is going to be about 10, 11 o'clock tomorrow morning. The low pressure system that we're keeping our eye on right now is over the Texas Panhandle, moving into Arkansas as we go into the afternoon hours and tonight. Then it'll be moving up into Missouri. It'll be cutting through extreme southern Illinois and actually move right south of Toledo through the Cleveland area and then follow Lake Ontario over into the New England states, where they are going to get quite a bit of snow out of the system as well. It does appear as though the East Coast, other than the mid-Atlantic states, are going to be looking at some snow. Mid-Atlantic states down toward the Carolinas, it'll be pretty much rain. They are anticipating some very heavy rains around New York City and Philadelphia, Washington, D.C., not so much today, or really for that matter tomorrow. It does appear as though all that activity is going to pick up in intensity after midnight on Friday night in through the day on Saturday, and they are going to be looking at some pretty strong gusty winds as well. 36 states right now have some form of watch or warning up. For those in the warmer climate areas, they're looking at very heavy rains, as we indicated to you yesterday. Flood watches are up now. It does appear as though anywhere from, let's say, Arkansas, Tennessee, northern sections of Alabama, as well as Mississippi, moving into the Tennessee Valley, Kentucky, the lower Ohio River Basin, and even into central portions of Ohio. Flood watches are up for a good part of the day tomorrow as this system tracks along where we think it's going to be heading. To the north, the immediate north of it, it's not so much freezing rain. It's just going to be turning into plain old snow, measurable amount of snow. Now, this system Off on the West Coast, just to kind of give you an idea, Lake Tahoe, so far they have had 12 feet of snow, and a good chunk of that, more than 6 feet, has happened just within the past week. This season, so far, Lake Tahoe has had 500 inches of snow. And again, a lot of snow occurred in that particular area just within the last week to 10 days when I'm talking the 12 feet. Flagstaff, Arizona, so far is 6 feet above normal when it comes to snow for this season. And this particular system gave them better than 1.5 feet, almost 2 feet, just within the past few days. High winds along the Gulf of Mexico, all the way up into and through Michigan. And as we indicated, flood watches up in the area, Arkansas to Ohio, down into Tennessee. They're looking right now at rain in the rain gauge of more than 5 inches over the next 24 to 36 hours. Tornado watches are up already in south central portions of the continental United States, and those watches will extend from the Carolinas into Kentucky over the next 24 hours. So what are we looking at? Mostly cloudy skies, 35 for a high, 27 for a low. Sun will set this evening at 6:26, rise tomorrow morning at 7:10. Mostly cloudy all day tomorrow, 33 is going to be our projected high. We're going to be right on that freezing mark. Snow likely as we get into the later morning hours. The morning commute should be fine. My guess is once we roll into the noon hour, we're going to begin to see in the state, this is going to be bubbling up from the south to the north. So we'll begin to see the activity kick in along the Michigan border just before the lunch hour, if not maybe a couple of hours before. But because this system is moving as slow as what it is going to take some time for that snow to work its way up into the central part of the lower peninsula, the Great Lakes Bay area. But once we roll through the noon area, we're going to begin to see some traces of snow, a little bit of light snow here and there. The wind speeds are going to start to pick up a little bit. We're going to be looking at an east breeze right around 10 to 15 miles per hour, gusting to 25 as we go into the afternoon hours. And then later on, close to sunset and a little bit after, we're going to have a northeast wind, 15 to 25 miles per hour, gusting to 35. And then overnight, Friday night, 30 degrees for a low, a north wind gusting to 45 miles per hour as that low pressure system will be moving over Lake Ontario. And again, this is a very deep, intense, low pressure system. The primary reason why we're looking at the amount of snow that we're thinking we're going to get is because of these wind directions and speeds. Because on Friday nights, we're going to be looking at northeast up to 35, 40. And then late Friday night, early Saturday morning out of the north, gusting to 45 miles per hour. Saturday, decreasing clouds as we go through the day. We're going to be looking at a northwest wind on Saturday, and that's going to clear us out. We'll have partly cloudy skies as we go through the day, and our temperatures are going to warm up. On Saturday, looking for a high of right around 39, 40 degrees is not out of the question for Saturday. Clouds moving in on Saturday night, 28 for a low. Sunday, we'll see some sun. We'll see a few clouds around, 42 for a high. And then another system is going to be moving in, affecting our weather late on Sunday night, early Monday morning. 32 is our projected low for Sunday night, with a combination of rain and snow after midnight on Sunday night, moving into the morning hours on Monday. Monday, it's going to warm up to about 42, so whatever moisture we get will be rain. Then Tuesday and Wednesday will be in the mid to upper 30s, both of those days, but we're not expecting anything in the way of moisture. All the way through the 15th of the month, we're looking at our temperatures to average below normal for this time of the year. Precipitation values to be average. 37 is our normal high right now. 21 is the normal low. Record high in the state, 57, set back in 1964. The record low, 12 below zero, set in 1962. And a year ago today, 38 was our high, 21 was our low. Record amount of snow on this date, set back in 2006. We had 8.5 inches of snow on March the 2nd. More on the weather as we go through the broadcast. When we return, we're going to take a look at the markets and see where we're headed there. Doug Klein will be joining us initially right off the bat. But before we get to all of that, I want to remind you the weather forecast brought to you by the folks at Nutrien Ag Solutions.
Nutrien Ag Solutions has the local expertise to recommend the corn, soybean, and other seed products that are the best fit for your field. Plus, unparalleled agronomic support with products and services to unlock yield potential and improve crop performance from planting to harvest. Ask about our financing options to help you get more from every acre and lead the field. Visit your local Nutrien Ag Solutions branch or go to nutrienagsolutions.com.
Say, do you want to unlock the secret to higher yields? If you're applying dry fertilizer, the key to better yield potential is Titan XC. Titan XC is a fertilizer biocatalyst that unlocks and releases the bound-up nutrients in granular fertilizer, promoting better root uptake and plant growth. Drive performance this season and beyond. Release more nutrition. Expect better results with Titan XC. For more information, visit lpi.ag/unlock or contact your Nutrien Ag Solutions crop consultant today. Farm Service brought to you today by the folks at Weiss Equipment. They've got the Farm All tractors on display right now. And a lot of folks have asked them, why are they called Farm All? Well, there is a very good reason, because that's what those tractors do. Baling, feeding, mixing feed, loading, pulling, raking, cleaning the barn, cultivating, furrowing, seeding, chopping, clearing up, harrowing, hoisting, excavating, grading. They even lead parades and a whole lot more other things. That's because they have a horsepower range that runs anywhere from 35 to 140. So they can do just about anything. And Weiss Equipment in Frankenmuth knows that getting the job done starts with choosing the right Farm All tractor. So they carry a wide range of those Case IH Compact Farm All Series tractors. Value Pack Compact Farm All A, all the way to the Deluxe Compact Farm All C and C Series with cabs. The tractor does it all, so no matter what you're doing, Can Do comes in red, and it's called Farm All. Find out more by stopping by Weiss Equipment in Frankenmuth, doing it right longer. Had a listener just ask me, okay, what about up north? And by up north, they're heading up toward the Grayling, Gaylord area, over to Elmira, looking at that. Best suggestion is if you're going to be heading in that direction, if you can head in that direction Friday morning, that's probably going to be the best bet. For those folks up there, they're going to get snow, but they're not going to get as much as what we will be looking at. And the time frame is going to be, again, a lot later than what our timing is going to be here in the Great Lakes Bay Area. So, again, if you've got to do some traveling, the best shot, and unless you're heading close to the Michigan border with Indiana and Ohio, is to do it right away in the morning to avoid any possible problems. Speaking of problems, I got a guy that's he's talking about problems all the time. But every once in a while, Doug Klein, you do have a little silver lining. Is one of those days today?
Hey, I saw 5.2 on a 1-year CD today. So that's still creeping up for anybody out there that's looking for guarantees. That's about all I can see as far as guarantees go. Other than that, grain markets are moving up a little bit, and that's saying something, considering that the dollar is also moving up. So kind of got some headwinds on that, and still going up. So that's about it. Everything else seems to just trade on AI. Triggers and no thinking. Just what'd you do yesterday? What'd you do in the last 5 minutes? Let's do it again. Let's do more. And it's kind of hard to, I don't know, wrap your brain around it, I guess.
Yeah, but pretty rapid fire, I'll tell you.
Yeah. Anyway, so here's your numbers. The March corn, 643 3/4, up 3 1/4. The September corn 5.82 unchanged. March soybeans 15.25 up 20 3/4. The November soybeans 13.68 up 9 1/4. The March wheat is 7.06 up 9 1/4, and the July wheat 7.19 3/4 up 1 3/4. The crude oil is 78.42 up 73 cents. Heating oil is 287.92. That's up a half a penny. Gasoline is 270, and that is up 2.5 cents. And I see they jumped the price here in town. It was I think it was 244 or 240 or 349. So I think they're anticipating not being able to get any fuel for a day or two.
I saw that this morning.
Yeah, that's the only reason I can think of. I mean, nobody's going to be traveling unless you're snowmobiling, and that's pretty unlikely too. So I don't know. Natural gas is 291. That's down 3.5 cents. Over to currencies. Canadian dollar. U.S. dollar buys 136.07 at the border. That's up 13 ticks. The dollar buys 136.76 yen. That's up 60 ticks. The euro's at 105.97. That's down 6 ticks. And the dollar's at 104.99. That's up 51 ticks. Gold 1844.30, down $1.10. Silver's 20.73, down 22 cents. Platinum's at 965.60. It's up $3.80.
Thank you, Doug. You take care. Have a good day.
You too.
Doug Klein over at Oppenheimer. As far as what's going on the board over at MAC in Breckenridge, strong day there once again in the soybean pit. The beans are up anywhere from 15 to 20 cents at MAC, 14.78 on the nearby. The new crop is at 13.11. Corn is up a couple, 5.95 on the nearby, 5.11 on the new. Wheat having a pretty good day, anywhere from about 8 cents to the positive on the nearby to a couple 3 cents on the new crop. 6.67 for the white wheat, 6.32 for the red. New crop is at 7.24 for the white, 6.54 for the red. Market report brought to you by the folks at the Frankenmuth Credit Union. They do have lines of credit, equipment loans, financing for purchasing land, credit cards, and more. Stop by any of their conveniently located offices and see how they can be your hometown financial solution. Find out more by going to frankenmuthcu.org. And by the folks at Krizak's House Family Restaurant. Better get ready. Some really important dates coming up, and it might be a good idea to reserve your table right now. Easter Sunday, that Easter Sunday brunch, always great, always busy at Krizak's House. And of course, Mother's Day. That's a lot closer than you'd think right now. 989-894-5531. That's the telephone number. Reserve your table. Everybody's going to love to have Krizak serve you. Corner of Cass in Michigan on Bay City's south side. We say good morning to Jerry Samolsky, Bay Landscaping and Garden Center in Essexville. Jerry, what should we be doing right now?
Well, Terry, this one isn't cut out for everybody, but you know, the sap's running, and if you're into maple syrup, now's when you want to start collecting that maple syrup. And you can get it out of any maple tree, but the sugar maple will probably have twice the sugar content as other maples. So that's why sugar maples are tapped so much more than any other maple. But the sap has been running now since, the latter part of February, but maybe 2 to 3 weeks ago, they were tapping and getting pretty good flow. And I think with the weather we're having, that's going to continue. So with our trees, let's get some maple syrup. Terry, what do you think? Pancakes?
Pancakes, waffles, French toast. Oh, man, life is good.
There you go.
Good idea. Good suggestions, Jerry. Talk to you later, all righty? Jerry Samolsky, Bay Landscaping and Garden Center in Essexville. We'll be right back.
What word comes to mind if I say food prices? Inflation. What if I say housing prices? Inflation. Well, what if I said car and truck prices? Last year, the word was definitely inflation. In fact, it was hyperinflation. But at Cook Chevrolet in Vassar, this is a new year, and prices have come crashing back to normal. Loaded crew cab 4x4 Silverados are back down to $363 a month. Interest rates are even back down to 2.99% on pickups. The Chevy Equinox is now down another $35 just from last month, now starting at $250 a month. And last month's unbelievable Chevy Blazer lease payment has even been lowered. Can you believe it now starts at $215? You heard me right. I didn't say $250, just $215 a month. At the Cook GM Superstore in Vassar, inflation is history. Get out today, M15 Top of the Hill in Vassar.
Payments based on GM employee and family lease. $26.93 on Equinox, $27.26 on Blazer, $28.95 on Silverado due at signing. Call or visit us online at cookchevybuick.com. Chevy, find new roads.
Experience the most reliable RTK signal from PC Ag Solutions, compatible with most GPS receivers. Trade in your old radio or modem and get an affordable subscription through us. We have over 25 base station locations across the Lower Peninsula, and we're always looking to add more to our network. Discover more power, more accuracy, and more coverage with our 450 megahertz signal. Call us to learn more today. PC Ag Solutions, 989-868-4444. Along with you, Craig Voorhees with the Rummel Agency. Craig, let's talk a little bit about something that a lot of folks have to deal with, but they've had a hard time finding employees. We're talking about hiring drivers.
Right, Terry. You know, lots of time this winter has been spent in the shops fixing up equipment, fixing up trucks, and soon we're going to be turning our attention to find people to operate that stuff. And make sure you're checking for, valid driver's licenses. If you're a commercial or business, make sure the folks got the right endorsements on their driver's license that they need to operate your vehicles. And don't forget to check your existing employees either. It's a good idea, say once every 12 months or so to run a check on their driving record, or at least talk to them about it. You don't want any surprises from the insurance company raising your premium or actually asking you to exclude a driver.
No, don't need that at all. Good advice. I'm glad you brought it up because you better be planning ahead on this, right?
Yep, plan ahead. That's always key, and it's one of the things we often overlook. We get antsy, we get ready to go, and we just want people in the seats, and got to make sure the people in the seats got the right qualifications.
There you go. Craig Voorhees, have a good day, all right?
Thanks, Terry. You too.
I will. Craig Voorhees with the Rummel Agency. Let's find out what's going on in New York right now. Steve Anderson over at Baird & Company joining me. Steve, good morning.
And good morning to you, sir.
What are we looking at?
Right now, we've got mixed markets with the Dow Jones Industrial Average ahead by 85, putting it at 32,747 on 318 million shares. NASDAQ is down by 69, putting it at 11,310 on volume of 398 million shares. Locally, they're mixed too. Caterpillar 249.84 up 117. Deere 423.08 up 333. CMS 58.30 up 52. Dow 57.95 down 7. DuPont 73.95 up 28. Corteva 62.95 up 80. GM 38.72 up 9. Trinzio is 23.98 down 2. Walmart 140.36 up 21. Huntington Banks 14.87 down 43, and AT&T is down by 2 little pennies at 18.64.
Have a great day, Steve. Thank you.
Throughout the growing season, you're tasked with making tough choices, starting with the seed, reading all that trial data. You even have your neighbors weigh in. And when you do plant that smart decision, how you'll protect it, well, that's an easy choice. The soybean herbicide portfolio from Corteva Agriscience. With products like Sonic Herbicide, you'll be complementing your Enlist system with the soybean residual protection that'll tackle the toughest weed challenges all season long. See how a program approach can help you protect every acre at Corteva.us.
We'll be back at 12:30 with an update, so you stick around. Now we conclude our program with the playing of our national anthem.
From the Premier Kitchen and Bath Gallery Studios, WSGW, Saginaw, Bay City, Midland, WSGW FM, Carlton.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Liberty Mutual Insurance.
I'm Steve Kathan. It won't be long before a jury has the case of an accused double murderer in South Carolina. CBS's Jim Krasula.
The defense is presenting its closing arguments in Alec Murdaugh's trial in Walterboro, South Carolina. It's a final chance to convince the jury the 54-year-old did not fatally shoot his wife and son in June of 2021.
Law enforcement had decided it had to be Alec murdered. It's a fair question for you to ask yourselves. It's a question that's not been fairly answered in this trial.
A member of the jury that will deliberate Murdaugh's fate was removed because she discussed the case with other people.
Secretary of State Blinken calls out Russia at the G20 summit in India.
End this war of aggression. Engage in meaningful diplomacy that can produce a just and durable peace.
His comments came after a 10-minute face-to-face talk with his Russian counterpart, Sergei Lavrov, that is said to have touched on the war, Russia's move to suspend the New START nuclear treaty, and imprisoned American Paul Whelan. The Biden administration has unveiled a new cybersecurity plan.
Cybersecurity expert Suzanne Spalding says the broad strategy tackles ways to make us all more secure online by shifting the security burden.
And put it more of the responsibility on those upstream.
Like companies, for example, that develop software.
We don't expect drivers to buy cars not sure whether they're safe or not and install their own seatbelts.
Spalding knows this effort won't be easy.
We can expect some parts of industry to push back.
But she says this long-term strategy is worth it. Linda Kenyon, CBS News, Washington.
With all the snow and rain in California this year, officials say just half the state remains in drought now. On the map today, the Weather Channel's Stephanie Abrams says parts of Texas and Oklahoma could face severe weather.
Our tornado condition index is a 7 out of 10. That means strong, long-lived tornadoes, 75-mile-per-hour winds can cause tree damage and power outages. Hail 2 inches in diameter can cause dents on your car and the roof of your home.
University of Georgia football star Jalen Carter turned himself into police and posted bond overnight. He faces racing and reckless driving charges in the fatal accident that killed a teammate and staffer who were in another car in January. Writer Seth Emerson at The Athletic says Carter's pro career could take a hit.
He's someone who's projected to be one of the top picks in the NFL draft, and we'll see if he still will be.
Carter vows he will be exonerated. Wall Street, right now the Dow is up 110 points. The S&P and NASDAQ are lower. This is CBS News.
Nobody should have to pay for one-size-fits-all insurance coverage. Liberty Mutual customizes your car and home insurance so you only pay for what you need. Liberty Mutual Insurance.
Live from the 100.5 and 790 newsroom, this is WSGW News.
Cloudy skies and 35 degrees at 12:03. Good afternoon. I'm Mike Percha. Bay City Bridge Partners has some closures planned for Liberty Bridge this month. The closures are for bascule mechanical commissioning, according to the Bridge Authority. They'll take place in the overnight hours from 7 p.m. to 5 a.m. This evening on March 3rd, March 9th, and March 10th. Traffic delays should be less severe now that Independence and Lafayette bridges have reopened. 5 people are in custody in connection with a smuggling attempt near Algoniac. The group was arrested February